and today to deliver another stream of Golden Kamuy, the anime series. We're good to go, we are good to go, we are good to go. So yes, we actually have returned to actually cover episode 19 of Golden Kamuy, the anime series, which is episode 7 of season 2, I believe. Yeah, episode 7 on season 2. So yes, last week's episode, oh my freaking god, was it just beautiful. Beautifully done, I must say. I was like, boy, standout job right there. We actually kind of really delved into Tanagaki's past, and it was just really nice to explore. They actually gave a whole entire episode to his backstory. I thought that was really well done, because he actually does in theory have a very extensive backstory, which actually does in theory feed into a lot of his character. And I actually kind of like that aspect of that episode. It kind of just gave the right amount of time to him to actually kind of be fully fleshed out, because he's a very fleshed out character already, don't get me wrong, but just having that past even more now just kind of just fleshes him out even more. I really do appreciate how they actually kind of went about just dealing with his character. I thought it was actually really well done. So I believe we're up on this episode actually going into Ogata's backstory, which actually was, oh boy, that one's the depressing one. That was a very depressing one. Actually, I think all of them are very depressing, but Ogata's one just gets even more depressing as time goes on. The more you learn about it, it's just like, my heart. My poor boy. My poor boy. So anyway, yes, we'll see the backstory this week, and I actually want to see how well they're actually doing for deal with his backstory, if not actually doing for give the right amount of time to him, and whether or not actually doing for give him justice like they did with Tanagaki and Sugimoto beforehand. So we'll have to wait and see. It's actually put onto actually gone live for Golden Kamuy. So, gone live for Golden Kamuy, episode 19. And I believe with that, we are absolutely good to go. Yes, we are. We're good to go. We absolutely are good to go. So it actually puts into full screen, actually get shown a road. So in 3, 2, 1. So actually start this thing absolutely now. Let's also mention the gang's actually back together as well. The gang's back together. Look how cute he is. Look how cute he is in the back. He's so cute. Oh man. So yes, this episode actually will be the episode, which actually then leads into the episode, I believe, because next week's episode actually will in theory be the episode to end episodes, which actually then feeds into the arc, which ends all arcs as well. Oh man, it's gonna be non-stop for the whole entirety of this anime for the rest of this runtime. Like, this episode is the kind of preliminary part of it. It just continues until the end. You're like, oh my boy, give me some breath here. I need to breathe. It's why I just love this part of the manga so much, because it just gets so freaking relentless with how much stuff's actually going on. It's just so freaking good. He's so freaking. You just look at how hot he is. I can't get past that shot. It's just. I still love the fact that actually kind of honored Edo Guy as well in the actual opening. I think actually is quite nice, because he's an amazing character. As I said during my manga streams as well, I always would appreciate this series for the kind of the like how deep it is, like deep rooted in culture actually is as well. It's just so freaking fantastic. You get to learn so much. I always will appreciate the series because of it, because I've learnt so much for the whole entirety of this runtime in the manga and also in the anime. I mean, everyone doesn't very fault the production behind the show itself, but I always kind of feel that in every single shot there's something going on, which actually doesn't very kind of make the pacing just work so freaking damn well as well. It's one of the things I actually really do appreciate is the fact that we kind of get this really, really good pace in each scene. He's so unbelievably beautiful. He's so unbelievably beautiful. Yes, boys! He did it. He absolutely goddamn did it. I feel my life has been saved once again. I always feel like that scene actually really does encompass why I love Atilapa's character so much. Like, that whole entire scene is just a perfect example of how great of a character she is as well. She's such a great character. Like, probably one of the best of the whole entire... Probably, maybe even... I don't know. Like, probably top one share of AG from but Banana Fish for best character of the whole entire year. This is actually really good so far. This episode's actually really freaking good. Oh, other best boys here as well. Other best boys here. I love him so much. He's so freaking cool. They've done that scene so perfectly. Oh no, here we go. I just want to give him a hug. I just want to give him a hug so badly. They're actually doing so well so far. It's actually caused me even more pain in than in the manga right now. They're doing so well. It's caused me a lot of pain. One of the more interesting things about Ogata's past is the fact that no one besides his father actually is shown, their face is shown. Which I always thought was actually mildly interesting, because you have every single character in his past, but no one besides his father has their face shown. He has got such a beautiful smile, though. It's such a beautiful smile. Look at him in the corner. Look at him, he's so beautiful. Yeah, so there we go. I actually kind of liked how they did it. It was actually really well done. It kind of gave it enough time. Though that's not the end of it. There's actually more to his backstory than what the animes actually kind of gave us just yet. So I'm hoping that possibly maybe we might get that later on. But yeah, I mean, it was great. It was a great episode, like on its own. It kind of it closed some narrative threads and some character threads, but also opened up some more. But also kind of gave us insight to a character who's otherwise very mysterious. Because let's face it, you don't really know anything about Ogata. And it kind of lends itself well to his character because he's a mysterious person, and his mystery of his backstory doesn't actually lead into that whole entire aspect. I liked how they kind of explored his backstory in this episode. It kind of gave it enough time to actually feel fully fleshed out. Which should kind of make that line way back in the Boruto arc make sense, because I know the anime episode hasn't been subbed yet, but unless I actually cut it out, but in the actual Boruto arc, he does actually even mention that the fact is that killing your parents is a rite of passage. Back then, you had no idea what he was talking about. You're like, what's that even mean? You know, he's kind of a bit crazy sometimes, but you're kind of like, what's that even mean? And there's your answer to that question. What actually does Infuri mean? The fact is, he actually didn't Infuri kill his parents. It's one of those things, but it's not as if it's kind of like he killed his parents out of nowhere, but it kind of had a meaning behind everything. And I think that does feed into his whole entire character. There's always a reason behind what he's doing. He's not always one of those people that's kind of act on impulse or feelings. He's a person that knows what he's doing, and it's kind of it kind of adds that level of kind of like distress and kind of scariness to his character, because you know he's got something going on behind closed doors that you just don't know about. And it actually lends itself well to the mysterious side of his character, because you know he knows what he's doing, but you just don't know why he's doing it. It's one of those things, it plays into the fear of the unknown of his character. It kind of plays well like with Banana Fish, this idea that you can't really predict his character, the same thing with the plot in Banana Fish. You can't really predict it, and I always feel that it really lends itself well to his character, because every single action he does makes you think even more, why is he doing this? And yeah, I mean, his backstory does actually kind of explore the whole entire idea of why he's doing it. It wasn't as if he killed them because he just thought about it. No, there was actually a reason behind it. And it was one of those things, it's a very depressing reason when you think about it, because he killed her thinking that he would come back, but he didn't. It's one of those things, it's really depressing. As what I was saying in the beginning, this backstory is really depressing because he's a person that lacks something fundamental a person actually doesn't really have, is the idea of compassion. He lacks compassion because he comes from a family that actually kind of lacks it. And I like his dynamic with Yusaku as well, because Yusaku is kind of the antithesis of his character. It doesn't really work together. Like, in essence, you have two opposites basically kind of trying to very work, but they can't, because they're complete opposites in retrospects. It's one of those interesting things about him. He's complete polar opposite to most characters in the show. And I always believe that he works because of it, because he's complete polar opposite, because then you actually do him for it to know him a little bit more. You actually get to see those little bits of him kind of just getting used to everything around him. It actually doesn't make his character feel a bit more kind of real in a way, because he's learning as time goes on. He's not a character that actually kind of does that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, the idea is he doesn't just do it out of nowhere. There's always a reason. There's always a kind of passage towards that area. So hopefully the Boruto arc actually kind of adapted that line, because if they didn't, I'd be really disappointed, because it's actually a very fundamental point to his whole entire character. It doesn't tell you there and then what it means, but it's a very fundamental point. It actually doesn't very foreshadow his actual backstory, which is it foreshadowing or like kind of, is there a past of foreshadowing? That's the question. Is there a past of foreshadowing when it doesn't actually infer a foreshadow an event? It kind of just tells you the event's going to happen later on, of a past of a character. But yeah, I digress. It was an amazing episode, it really was. I liked how they just did every single thing with Ogata's past. It was brilliant. It was really nicely done. It was framed nicely, it was actually explored nicely, it was just done to the T, really, when you think about it. I just kind of, I like how they did it. And it's interesting, I said beforehand during the stream itself, the idea of that none of the people in his family have faces besides his father. And I was wondering that during the stream, why don't they have faces? Because, but then it kind of dawned on me, it could in theory be the idea of the torture that the idea of his father not being there kind of gave him in a way. Like, he kind of projects the idea of only being able to see his father because the person that tortured him the most. Like, in essence, you can kind of see there might be a kind of a progression of compassion he actually has towards a person in some retrospects. The idea that you can see part of Yusaku's face doesn't really lead to the fact he actually has some slight compassion, but not kind of fully compassionate towards him. Not be able to see his mother might in theory be that he doesn't actually kind of see her as kind of like a torture in a way to him. The only person that's actually tortured towards him is actually his father. That's why you can see his face. Actually, he's a very important character anyway, but you know what I mean. That's how I kind of saw it in a way. It's how I kind of interpreted the fact that why can't you see the faces of his family? It's kind of what I kind of deduced in the end. I kind of thought maybe it's the pain threshold each character doesn't really give him. The idea, I'm guessing, that you see a part of Yusaku's face, but the whole entirety of it is the fact that it's actually that whole entire idea that he kind of, it's half and half of him, really. That's why you see half his face. It's half and half. The kind of the torture that he's not he's kind of the person that his father actually kind of looked towards instead, and actually that, really. It's very interesting, I think. It's a very interesting way to actually kind of frame Ogata's past. You don't really see the people that he kind of was with, their faces. You don't get to know them by the way he explains them. It's very fascinating, actually. It's a very fascinating way to actually look at him as a character. But yeah, also, as I said during the stream, this episode really didn't very delve into why I really do very respect Asaka's character, because she had the idea to actually she had the actual opening to go back to where she came. She's going to see Hoochie and actually say, look, don't worry, everything's all right. But no, she said, no, I have to press forward. And I actually really do respect her for that reason, because she's one of those people that kind of won't close up the narrative. She wants to go forward. And actually, I like that about her. Like, she has the advantage to go back to actually kind of explain, look, it's fine. But no, she doesn't. She actually kind of says, no, I have to go and figure this out. I have to see what's going on here. I have to go and see what's going to happen next. I can't just end it here. I have to go and see. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's just... It just shows you the amazing traits that she actually has in the character. She actually doesn't very kind of, in a way, go above and beyond the character I've seen in the anime this whole entire year. And that's what I'm saying. She's kind of tied with Eiji for best character the whole entire year. Granted, Ogata's like somewhere in like in the stratosphere levels of I love you so much, my boy. But you know what I mean. She's just so freaking good. She's an amazing character. I respect her so goddamn much because she's a character who doesn't give up. Even in the face of adversity, she doesn't give up. She presses forward. I just thought, yeah. And I like the fact that we kind of closed off the whole entire thing with Tanagaki's character in a way. His motivations ended, but it hasn't ended completely because a new chapter actually has opened for him. And I thought it's actually a really good way to actually kind of look at his character as well. Like the idea of one chapter ends, but a new chapter actually begins. So it's actually really well done because of it for that one reason as well. I just really liked how they did it with Asapa's character and Tanigaki as well. But yeah, I mean, the main side of the show really was Ogata's character. That whole entire end part was just beautiful. And I like how Tsurumi just kind of plays into the whole entirety of the backstory as well. He's a very interesting character because he always kind of creeps up somewhere. Like he's a character who's actually kind of got... He's actually in every single person's, in a way, so far at least, I believe. Possibly, maybe, his backstory. Like he's kind of everywhere in some capacity, not kind of always like prominent in everyone's backstory more than others, but he's there in some capacity. And I actually kind of like that about him because it kind of raises more questions about him of what he actually doesn't really serve towards the plot in more than what he's actually kind of being established to do right now. So it's actually one of those interesting things about him, that he's a character you just don't know anything about just yet, and it's just great because of it, because you're kind of sitting there going, okay, so what's his deal? What's he gonna do? I don't know. Why is he in this person's Ogaten's backstory, I don't know. It actually is in free to make you wonder what will he do next. What's this whole entire plot leading towards with his character? Because, again, as I said beforehand, this show hasn't got just one plot. It's got like 5 of them. It actually really does in free juggle them quite well. So it's actually interesting to see where all the plots go towards. So yeah, I mean, really, all in all, episode was really freaking great. It was actually a phenomenal episode. I loved it to bits. I mean, yeah, it was painful watching Ogata's backstory again. I was like, God damn it! Like, it's just the fact his voice actor gives such a great performance as well. His voice actor is actually so phenomenal. I love him to bits as well. Like, he's just so freaking good. He's cast perfectly as Ogata. I just think he's amazing as Ogata. He did a bang out job in this episode as well. Give you a clap there for that one, my boy. You did a good job. It was painful, but we got to see his backstory. I'm glad it did actually get rid of it, because it does play a fundamental role in his character. I actually kind of like the fact that they actually kept it in. I was fearing whether or not they would actually adapt his backstory. I was like, will they do it? Won't they do it? I don't know, but they did it. Like, thank God. So yes, that is me done for today. So as always, if you have enjoyed this whole entire stream on Twitch, then do leave that good old follow on Twitch, because indeed, there's something quite a bit. And you actually have enjoyed it here on YouTube, and you do want to leave a like, then do leave a like, because indeed, there's something quite a bit. And if you have enjoyed it here on YouTube, and you do want to stay a little bit longer, then do leave a sub, because indeed, there's something quite a bit. And also, if you want to actually stay a little bit longer after that point, then doing Fury, follow me on Twitter, because indeed, it does have me quite a bit. And on Twitter, actually, we'll find when these streams go live, and the other streams I do as well. And also, if Twitter isn't your thing as well, do have a Discord server as well, which is actually in free to tell when these streams go live, and other streams I do as well, and anything else is in free happen. But until next episode 20 of Golden Kamuy. Also, it does in free then lead into my favourite part of the whole entire manga, currently. Oh boy, it's going to be good next week. It's going to be good. It's going to be good if I actually do in free adapt it. So yes, until next time, have indeed been a drive, and I'll see you guys later. Bye for now.